Hey folks, today I'm going to do a shooting review of my Staccato C. Now I've changed some things on it since the last time. As you know, I always, or if y'all watch my 1911 videos, you know that I always change my triggers out for short triggers, and I always use STI short triggers. Well, STI is not around anymore. It's Staccato. And Staccato does not make short triggers. They only make long triggers. So I went with a cylinder and slide short trigger. Looks a little funny because it's silver, but I don't really care what it looks like as long as it functions well. I'm not a big aesthetic guy. I just want the function to be there. I also changed the thumb safety out temporarily. It's a Wilson Combat wide thumb safety that I cut down, but it's way too wide. But I'm just waiting for my EGW thumb safety to get here. I also bought some Talon grip tape, and I put Talon grip tape on it. So now I can get a good firm purchase on the gun when I'm shooting it. It doesn't look great, but it functions excellent, and it doesn't really matter what it looks like because I can always take it off if I'm going to sell the gun. So I almost stippled the grip myself. And then I thought, let's try this Talon tape and see how it works. So it worked really good at the range today, and I have no complaints. I did do some trigger work on the gun. The gun came in, if I remember right, it was about 4 pounds, and it had a bit of creep to it. Now, I don't know if y'all can tell, but I'm going to do a nice slow trigger pull with it. I'm going to take that slack out. You know, it's barely any uptake. And then I'm going to squeeze it slowly. No creep at all. None whatsoever. Basically what I did was I recut the primary and secondary angle on the sear, and I recut the hammer hooks. That's all I did. Let's weigh this thing out and see what it comes to. Now, like I said, if I remember right, it was about 4 pounds. So let's see what it is now. I believe it's going to be right around 3.5 pounds if I'm correct. 3 pounds, 10 ounces. Really close to 3.5 pounds. Let's see, get a couple more here. Get some good pulls. 3.5, almost dead even. And last one, let's see, 3 pounds, 4.2 ounces. I did it off camera, and it's coming up really consistent as long as I get good pulls on my gauge. It comes up really consistent at right around 3.5 pounds. But this isn't really talking about what modifications I've done. This is going to talk about how the gun performs on the range. So y'all watch a little bit of the shooting footage. There's not going to be a lot of talking during the shooting footage. I'll come back and give you my final thoughts. All right, took it out to the range today, and you see I'm starting out at 25 yards. I'm starting out at 25 yards just to test the accuracy on the gun, and you can't really tell, but I'm shooting at a steel target down there. That steel target is 6 inches wide and 12 inches tall. And I rang that steel almost every single time from 25 yards. You'll notice in the video today that I'm taking the shots, or I'm shooting at much farther distances. This is kind of an up close of what it looked like when I was shooting at 25 yards. For the most part, I got some good groups. Most of them were high and right. I did have a couple of flyers. I think the first one was a low flyer, and somewhere right in here, I think, yeah, I got another low flyer. But overall, the gun was shooting really good. Now I'm stretching the legs out. I'm listening to what some of y'all said. Some of y'all say, stretch those guns out at some longer distances and let's see what they shoot like at longer distances. Well, I'm shooting at a longer distance here. I'm shooting at 50 yards. It's still that 6x12 plate, and I'm going to tell you what, this thing was clanking steel almost every single round. I think I fired 8 rounds here, and I made 7 hits. So this gun is definitely a shooter. I'm really surprised. But anyway, let's move around a little bit, and I'm going to show you some other shooting. I'm going to shut up here and let y'all watch the video. One nine four. Woo. 185. That's from about 8 yards. That was a bill drill from about 8 yards with a little Staccato C. Even being out of practice, which I'm out of practice, it was a slow draw with a 105 draw. The total time was a 185. So that's still pretty quick. And with a little bitty small gun like this, and it is small, it is light, but it handles the recoil really good. Let's see what I can do with that little 3-inch popper. Not bad, not bad. Think it's a keeper. Well, I guess you can tell by the video, this gun's a shooter. I'm gonna tell you, at 25 yards, it was nothing to just stand there and pop steel all day long at 25 yards. It wasn't even hard. You didn't even hardly have to try. You can also tell at 25 yards on the up close video that I put, I had 4 rounds in about a 3-inch group, and that's standing offhand. That's pretty good for me. I did have a couple of flyers. I'm human. I did have some flyers. Anybody that says they don't have flyers, they're either lying or they're not human. I will say that this gun has a very soft recoil impulse. It's very fast. It shoots like a much larger gun. I heard Staccato say that this was the softest shooting carry gun, and that it was the most accurate carry gun. I don't know about most accurate, but as far as a little CCO style gun or even officer size gun, it is very, very soft. I don't know of any other gun that small that shoots that soft. It shoots like a much bigger gun. I'm impressed with it. If I had to do it over again, I would buy it all over again. I thought the gun was going to be accurate, but you never really know until you go out and shoot it. The barrel locked up nice and tight. The slide was nice and tight. And when I got to the range, it didn't disappoint. Now, I did have one malfunction throughout the entire day. And that malfunction came with a Dan Wesson magazine. I'm not a huge fan of the Dan Wesson 9mm magazines. I prefer the Springfield Armory type magazines. And if you'll look, oh, it's a 9mm. If you'll look, there's a groove rolled right down the front of this magazine, and there's a lip on the front of it that acts like a feed lip. Chip McCormick uses this design. Springfield uses this design. Actually, Rob Latham is the one that came up with this design, and it prevents having to have a spacer at the back of the magazine to shift that round forward. You remember this magazine is designed around a 45 ACP. Well, the 9mm is much shorter. So if you don't have a spacer that either shifts that round forward or a groove to keep that round all the way back, then you have a lot of problems. The Dan Wesson uses a spacer in the back, but that top round always wants to pop out of the magazine. And the failure that I had today was it ejected the spent round. I got a stovepipe with a loaded round sticking up as the stovepipe. So it's a typical malfunction you always get with the Dan Wesson style magazines. But that is the only malfunction I had today. It was a malfunction, so I count it. I will attribute it to magazines, but nonetheless, it was a malfunction. So out of 150 rounds, this gun has had one malfunction now. I'm not disappointed in the gun. I'm very happy with the gun. If this is a gun that's on your list of guns to get, and maybe it's a gun that you're considering for carry, I can recommend this gun as a carry gun. Heck, I can recommend this gun as just a range gun. This gun will keep up with almost any 1911 out there unless you're going for ultra high-end 1911s. If you're going for your Springfields, Kimbers, Colts, your Les Bears, Wilsons, and Nighthawks, this gun will keep up with them. The fit and finish is there. It's a good quality fit and finish. The accuracy is there. It falls into a price category not quite at the high end like a Nighthawk or a Wilson Combat, but then again, it's not at your bargain price point either, like your Rock Islands, some of your Springfields, and some of your Kimbers. This is kind of a middle rung 1911, but it is a top-notch shooter. I am probably going to buy the rear plate so I can mount more than likely, a Swamp Fox optic, the Swamp Fox Sentinel. When I get that on there, I believe this gun is really going to be a shooter, especially back at 50 yards and longer. I can't shoot farther than 50 yards just based on the range that I have, but at 50 yards, I believe this thing's going to be a tack driver. But anyway, that's my thoughts on the Staccato C. I love it. It's a great gun, even though it's the blemished model. And if you'll notice, I fixed that blemish. I got a little Birchwood Casey Aluma Black pen and fixed that little blemish. So now there's not a blemish on the gun anymore. Thank y'all for watching. I appreciate you stopping in and watching my videos. I also want to tell you thank you. I know a lot of YouTube guys don't say thank you enough. To the ones that watch my videos and the ones that subscribe, thank you. I really appreciate it. This old dumb country boy ain't got much to say, and sometimes I ramble on, but I appreciate y'all stopping in and watching. If you like the video, give it a like, a thumbs up, and if you want to, leave some comments down below. Again, thank y'all for watching. Have a good one.